morning guys, you're joining me in the new Mercedes-Benz X-Klasse, which Mercedes has very kindly lent me for the weekend. And finally, pickup trucks are coming to Europe. It was a big no-go for years and years and years. And now first Volkswagen started with the Amarok, and now Mercedes has entered the game. And they have come out with the Mercedes-Benz X-Klasse, and they are saying that they are bringing the first luxury pickup truck to the market. The X-Class is based on the Nissan Navara, I think, and you can definitely tell that it's just a different chassis on the same frame. Lots and lots of parts are copied or transferred from the Nissan to the Mercedes. They just have put on some new badges, and that's basically it. For example, the shift knob, they have just put on a big Mercedes-Benz logo on it, and now they're calling it Mercedes-Benz, but it still feels a little bit cheap. And in some small details it feels like Mercedes just didn't put in any effort. Like, if you have a look at the key, it's just the Nissan key, and they have put on a Mercedes-Benz emblem, and that's it. And they are calling it a Mercedes key, and it looks so different to the typical key. I don't get it. Why couldn't you provide a proper key for the car? Isn't the typical X-Class buyer worth the effort to give him a cool key? Does it have to be the shitty Nissan key, which looks ugly as hell? And don't tell me it wasn't technically possible. Of course it is technically possible. You just didn't feel like putting in the effort. Other than that, the interior is actually quite nice. I really like the infotainment system they have come up with. It's a huge screen with a navigation unit, and it looks gorgeous. The leather is also pretty beautiful, although you can definitely tell that it's cheap. If you're pushing it a little bit, it's super hard, it's not comfy at all, and the seats aren't very comfortable either. They are just very stiff, but you can live with it, and after all, it's a working class car. But the Mercedes-Benz X-Class isn't exactly a cheap car. With the smallest engine, which is the X220D, it starts at 38,000 euros, and this one is the X250D, which starts at 40,000 euros. But this is with a manual gearbox. If you want the automatic, you're paying for that extra. And this car right here sits around at like 55,000 euros, which is quite a lot of money for Nissan. But don't get me wrong, driving around in the Mercedes X-Class is really fun. Everybody is looking at you because it's really a huge car. It's more than 5.50 meters long, nearly 2 meters high, and 2 meters wide as well. And you feel like the king of the road when you are driving it. Additionally, pickups are really not that common on German streets, so everybody is curious and they are looking at you. And then the benefit of driving a completely new class from a manufacturer, like the X-Class is the first pickup for Mercedes, you get the additional stairs because many people haven't seen this car or haven't even heard of it before. I was talking to one of the salespersons at Mercedes, and she told me that the sales aren't that satisfying at the moment. She was really disappointed because she thought she would sell many more of those cars, but people are not completely satisfied with the performance, and I can understand why that is. The engine isn't exactly powerful. It takes quite a lot of time to accelerate, even though this car is rated at 190 horsepower, which should be enough to move a 1.9 ton car, but doesn't feel like it. Much has to do with the sloppy gearbox. I'm not a huge fan of the gearbox. It's really sloppy and it's weird. Sometimes you're thinking it should normally upshift and it just doesn't. It just keeps the gear and you're at around 2,500 rounds per minute. And then other times it randomly downshifts and you didn't do anything. You didn't accelerate, nothing. It just downshifts and then after a couple of seconds it upshifts again, and it's so weird. This is definitely not how a Mercedes transmission should feel like. It should be buttery smooth, comfortable, and especially when they are telling you it's a luxury pickup, it should be perfect, and it's not. Regarding the power issue, there is a 6-cylinder engine coming out later this year, which should produce a lot more power than the current 4-cylinder that is in here, but we will have to see. The X250 just feels underpowered and it's just not enough for this car. And I'm crossing my fingers that Mercedes will also throw in another gearbox with a 6-cylinder engine, because with this transmission they are not winning any prizes. I know all of those points sound really negative, and don't get me wrong, this car is really fun to drive and I actually like the steering position very much. I enjoy being the king of the road. It's bigger than most of the SUVs you're seeing on the market, and I enjoy the looks people give you. I am the first to admit it. I enjoy when somebody pays me attention, and we even had one gentleman coming up and asking a couple of questions about the car, which was super nice. So people are curious to see a luxury SUV, and I'm pretty sure that there is a huge market in Europe for pickup trucks. After all, they are successful in Asia, North America, South America, even Australia. They are really successful. Only in Europe they aren't common, and this is so sad, because in my opinion pickups are the coolest cars there are. In my opinion, pickup trucks are the coolest cars on the market. They are so practical. You can just throw in your stuff in the bed like a push bike or a motorcycle and you are good to go. It's amazing, and I don't get why they aren't that common in Europe. And Mercedes is showing that you can add luxury to a pickup truck. And if you have a look at all the American manufacturers like Ford with their King Ranch, or Dodge with their Longhorn, I think they are calling it, you can definitely add luxury parts to a pickup truck. And I wish it would be possible to buy an American pickup truck in Germany, but they are not officially selling them over here. You can of course buy them from an importer, but then they are super expensive and you're paying like 50 to 60,000 euros for a Ford F-150, which doesn't even have all the cool features that are available. So I don't think this is a fair price. And then there's the trucks like the X-Class and the VW Amarok, which are sitting in the middle. They are so much smaller than the American pickup trucks, and this really negatively shows in some aspects. Like when you have a look at the truck bed, you can't fit a motorcycle in it. It's just too short. It's only like 1.40 m or 1.50 m I think, and this is not enough. Another thing I don't really like about the car is the fuel economy. It's a small engine, it's a diesel engine, and it still uses like 9.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which isn't great. I'm literally driving like a grandma, and it just eats up the fuel, and it's not a V8. If it was a V8, I wouldn't complain about it, because V8s aren't that effective and they sound cool, but the diesel doesn't sound cool, and the performance isn't great, and it just uses way too much fuel. Just not a good engine. The steering is actually quite nice. For such a huge car and you're sitting so up high, the steering is quite precise and you are always in control. It's not sloppy and it's not what you're expecting from a pickup truck. It's more like a car. It feels more like a car. This is a great thing. If you're getting the X-Class, you definitely need the safety features, because visibility wise this car sucks. You don't see anything. The back windows are really small and you have a huge C-pillar which swallows a whole line of cars. It sucks so bad, and I don't get it. Why do you design a car like that? And if you're trying to park the car without cameras, you can forget it. It's so wide and the visibility sucks so much that you just have to get the cameras, which then give you a great 360-degree view angle. Seeing the car from the top and having the backup camera makes it easy to park the car, but without the cameras you can forget it. If you're just looking behind, you can't see where your bed ends. You can't even see where it starts, and this sucks so bad. Only if you're using the side view mirrors you have a chance to see a little glimpse of your bed, but that's not enough to park your car. And so the cameras are definitely a must-get option in my opinion. Mercedes also did a great job with the sound dampening. It's really quiet in the car. It's a great car to just cruise along, enjoy the scenery, and you feel a little bit disconnected from your environment, which sounds negative, but I mean it in a positive way. It's so relaxed, you feel like nothing can touch you, and if we are honest, literally nothing can touch you in this car because it's so huge. But I really like the job they did with the sound dampening. Of course, it's not on the same level as the modern S-Class or even an E-Class. It's quieter in those cars, but for a truck it's really nice. As you guys probably know, I'm currently looking for a daily driver, and this is actually the first car I'm testing for that purpose. Will the Mercedes X-Class become my daily driver? No, definitely not. It just doesn't do it for me. The engine lacks too much power, the transmission is too sloppy, and the price they are asking for it is a joke. Why should I pay like 55,000 euros for such a car? I can easily go to Nissan and buy a similar spec Nissan Navara, which costs like 30,000 euros. Of course, the interior isn't that nice, but it's not worth like 20,000 euros more. And I really wish Mercedes would have done a better job with the car. I had so many expectations and high hopes when I first heard that Mercedes will launch a pickup truck, and I'm disappointed by it. They could have done so much better, and I just fear that many people who are driving a pickup truck for the first time, and the X-Class will be their first pickup truck they will ever drive, that they will have a negative point of view on a pickup truck. And that's so disappointed, because I wish people would actually see how practical those cars are, and they can be really nice. So unfortunately, the X-Class is not going to be my daily driver. Let me know in the comments what you think about the X-Class. Do you like the way it looks? Did you already had the chance to drive it? And what are your thoughts on the car? Let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.